Episode number 179.
Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut, because hashtag ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. Hello. How are you doing? Hope you're well. I'm excited. I'm going to be talking about the fact that your dream career may be a lot closer than you think. Let's talk about the idea of a dream career. And I don't know if I like that term, dream career, because people, ban that around a lot and say, help you find your dream career, help you find your passion. Really, what I like to talk about is finding an ideal role. And it's ideal if it is fully aligned to who you are as a person, what it is you're able to bring to the table, the strengths that you have, the values that you have. When there's full alignment with who you are and how you show up, that's when the role is ideal. So you can have a role that is ideal, but is it ideal for you? And if it's an ideal role that is ideal for you, then we can say, yeah, this is a dream role, because as you show up, as you execute, you're going to feel like you're in flow with it, and you're going to feel like everything's good in the way that you're doing work on a day-to-day basis. But I want to talk about the fact that it's a lot closer than you think. And here's why. What I hear from a lot of people, particularly the lawyers that I work with, people who have professional services backgrounds, is that they want to make a change. They know that where they are right now is not where they want to be. They know that they are frustrated. They know that they're feeling undervalued. They know that they're feeling overlooked. They know that they're feeling like, I've put in all this time, I've put in all this effort, and here I am working these long hours, and I'm frustrated. I'm not enjoying it. They know that. They know that's how they feel. And they know that they would like to be doing something different, but they don't know what that other thing looks like. And the assumption can be that if you want to make a career change, you have to do something radically different, right? So you're a banker and maybe you're going to transition to being a baker, or you're someone who is working in law and then you're going to go and be a yoga instructor, or, those big, bold career moves that some people make, and many people make them. Many people decide, I was on this professional path and now I want to do something really creative. Now I want to do something really different. And that's great. And people find great success with that. But that's not the only way to make a career change. So when we think about making a move, the assumption is often, well, if I'm going to move from what I'm doing right now, I'm going to have to take a pay cut because I get paid well. I have this great professional role. And so if I move, I'm going to have to take a pay cut. Now, that isn't always the case, but that is the assumption that many people have. And it's the assumption that can hold you back from moving forward. So what I want to talk about is not so much about making a huge leap when it comes to a career change and going from one industry, one career to something completely different. But let's talk about the in-between. Let's talk about the fact that you can make subtle changes to your career. You can make slight shifts. You can make slight pivots that can make a huge difference to the way that you feel about the work that you're doing, but it doesn't have to be as big of a transition as you think it is. And when it comes to making the pivots, what I've realized is there's so much time and energy that you spend at work on a day-to-day basis. There's so much time that you invest in the work that you're doing right now that you're kind of tunnel vision. You're in it. You're in what you do. You're in your industry. You're fully immersed in it. So your exposure is really limited to what it is that you do. So you're looking to the left and you're looking to the right, and you're seeing people who are doing work in the same way that you're doing it. So say you're in private practice. It's like you might be complaining about your workload, and you might be complaining about the way that you feel, and you're complaining to other lawyers who are experiencing exactly the same thing as you. So when you look and you're like, well, this is how I feel, this is how they feel, but that's all that we see is available. Or you might look a little bit outside and say, okay, I've seen some lawyers who are working in-house roles and their experience is a little bit different. That might be something you consider. But it doesn't really often go far beyond that. It's like you're looking at other lawyers who are working alongside you and you're saying, well, what are my options? I can't see that there are any options out there. I might scroll a few job boards, but then I can't see if there's anything I'm actually going to be able to do. And then you stop there. But the reality is there's so much more out there. One of the things that is consistent in terms of what clients say to me after we've gone through my program is that they have now expanded their belief around what is possible. So I was literally talking to a client when we were wrapping up this January cohort of the program, and I was asking, what are some of your biggest takeaways? And she shared that one of her biggest takeaways was just recognizing what is possible for her and all of the possibilities that are out there inside her industry or adjacent to her current industry, and the fact that she can make moves. Like, she felt empowered to be able to make those types of moves. But in order to feel empowered, she first needed to know that they existed. So a lot of the time we are trying to rely on our experience too much. So it's like, well, I've only experienced this. I've only seen this. So this is all that I believe to be possible for me. I've only earned this amount of money in this type of role, in this industry. And therefore, if I want to continue to earn this amount of money, I'm going to have to stay where I am. So we're basing that on experience. It's like, well, that's the only experience that I have. But here's what I want to share with you. Here's the nuggets. Here's the nuggets. We can't just... Hey. I am interrupting this episode to let you know that applications are now open for the Career Changemaker program. If you are a lawyer and you know that where you are right now is not working for you, and you want to figure out what the next best move is for you and how to strategically position yourself for a new opportunity without having to take a pay cut, without having to start at the bottom, you need to be in this cohort, because the May cohort is really going to be dedicated to supporting lawyers. And the reason why I want to do that is it's 1 year since I left my legal career. It's 1 year since I fully went into what it is that I want to do. And it's been a brilliant journey. And I want to support as many professional women as I can, and particularly lawyers, in this May cohort of this program. So if that's you, as you're listening to this, if you know that you want to be making a move and you've been procrastinating around it, you haven't been sure how to move forward, or you've been trying to move but it's not working, then go and make your application. Head over to www.careerchangemakers.com/CCM program. That's www.careerchangemakers.com/CCM program. Submit your application. I will review it, and then you will be invited to go through a career change assessment that's going to help you to see where you need to be focusing your energies, and we will determine whether or not the program is a good fit for you. Okay, so go make your application. Rely on experience, because our experience is very much our experience. It's what you've lived, it's what you've seen, it's what you've been able to be exposed to, right? But you can't stay there. What needs to happen is you to recognize that sometimes exposure needs to happen before you can then experience something else. And here's what I mean by that. Before you're able to experience something else, you need to believe that it's possible. And in order to believe that it's possible, you have to be exposed to it. So I remember when I was first working as an associate, and I was in private practice, and I was working on a transaction where the organization we were working for had an in-house lawyer. And I remember the in-house lawyer liaising with me and having conversations with them, and me really being curious and asking questions about what does it look like for you on a day-to-day basis as an in-house lawyer. And the information that I gained in that conversation then allowed me to say, when I'm thinking about making moves in my career, perhaps that could be a path that I would pursue. Because now I've seen what it looks like. I've had a conversation with someone, and I see that could be a path that isn't going to require me to go and retrain, or isn't going to require me to do something different. So I'm exposed to it. So now that I see that it's possible, I can then think about whether or not that's something that I would like to pursue. When I first started out in my business and I was like just getting going as a coach, I invested in programs, I invested in events, I invested in getting in rooms with people who were different from me, who had achieved the thing that I wanted to achieve. And I remember going on my first trip when I went to Miami for a business mastermind, and I went to Canada for a conference. My mind was literally blown when I was in the room with people who were experiencing life in a very different way to how I was experiencing it. I'm over here in my lawyer corner doing my thing, being like, yeah, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to move towards partnership. I'm going to I'm going to be securing that multiple six-figure salary. I'm going to be doing all those things. And then there's people over here in the entrepreneurship space who are talking about making their next million and doing this and doing that. So it just opened my eyes to what could be possible. But if I didn't get exposed to that, if I didn't put myself in the right rooms, I wouldn't have seen it. And if I didn't see it, I wouldn't have believed that it could be something that was something that I could achieve. So I'm not saying that for you, that needs to be the example that you need to say, well, I need to go and look into entrepreneurship, because that's a big leap. And I know the lawyers that I speak to and the people that I speak to, big leaps are kind of out there, right? It's like where you are right now is kind of sticky. It's like, well, I've got here, I don't know, I'm not sure. So what I'm saying is we don't necessarily have to focus on the big leaps, but even for you to make the shifts, even for you to make the pivots, you need to know what's out there. You need to know what's available to you. And so you need to be able to expose yourself differently to how you're exposing yourself right now. And you might be saying, okay, well, like, how do I expose myself? Well, understanding how to be strategically thinking about the skill set that you have right now and where that skill set could potentially take you. Like, you've probably heard people say, right? As a lawyer, you've got such great skills. You've got so much that you could offer in so many different places. And you might be thinking, yeah, but how? Like, I've only worked here doing this. How? I don't see how it can apply. But when you really drill down and you really think about your skill set and you think about the commerciality of your mindset and how it is that you can approach transactions and conversations and negotiations, that skill set can take you in so many different directions. But if you're only staying around other people who are doing what it is that you're doing, how are you going to see that? And how are you going to get exposed to that so that you can start to really say, well, could that be something that I would pursue? So the thing that we need to be thinking about is not, okay, I want to make a big career change, but I can't take a pay cut, so I'm going to have to stay where I am. No, what we need to be thinking about is I need to maintain this level of salary. So what are the potential adjacent opportunities to what I do right now that I could pursue that will allow me to continue to leverage the skill set that I have and still command the type of salary that I have or that I desire? And it's totally, totally possible, but it's about really thinking, okay, am I being strategic here? Or am I just doing the same thing, hoping for the best? I speak to people all the time who are saying, you know, I want to make a change, so I'm having a look. I'm looking at roles. I'm scrolling job boards. I'm looking at opportunities. But my thing is, like, we're jumping too quickly to go and look at roles and look at opportunities. So first and foremost, we need to determine what is it that you want and what is important to you in this season of your life, because there are so many different types of opportunities. If you just go out there and you're looking at the opportunities, how are you going to know which one's the right one? So first and foremost, it's about doing this inside out work where you're really determining, okay, where am I right now? What is the skill set that I have? What value can I bring? Who am I as a person? Where am I in my season of life? Auditing where you are right now so you can determine what type of opportunity is going to make the most sense right now. What needs to happen, what needs to be true in order for you to be happy with the type of work that you're doing. And then with that information, you can then go out and look at all the opportunities that are out there and ask yourself, well, I could go and do this. I could go and do that. But is that aligned? Is that aligned with what I want right now, who I am right now, and how I can show up right now and the value I can bring right now? And then it makes it so much easier to then drill down into the opportunities that are out there and the right ones for you. And when you identify them, you're going to feel so much more confident about moving forward than having this scattergun approach where it's like, oh, that opportunity sounds good. That opportunity sounds good. Yes, it might sound good, but is it right? Is it right for you? Is it an ideal role for you? And that's a process that needs to happen in order for you to really feel confident about moving into a role that you're excited about, rather than taking a punt. Because the reality is you're not going to take a punt, are you? Because you've invested too much time so far in your career for you to just take a punt and say, oh, that sounds good. So we can do a lot of work on the front end to get you to the place where you're identifying these types of roles that are available to me, these types of roles that aren't going to require me to take a pay cut or to retrain, and then these types of roles that actually are right fit for me so that I can position myself for them. So that's what I wanted to share with you. The opportunities that you may well be thinking are difficult to find. Like, is it too much for me to ask for me to have a role that I really enjoy, that allows me to use my strengths, that allows me to make an impact, that pays me well? Like, somebody literally asked me that question the other day. That's what I want. Is it too much to ask? My answer is no, that isn't too much to ask. But you need to be strategic if you want to find it. So instead of focusing on that, like, is it even possible? It's like, well, this is what I want. So, like, let me figure out how I can go out and find it, is what I want to encourage you to be thinking. And if you need support with that, if you are saying, yes, Janine, Totally. Like, I know that I want to make a move, and I have struggled to identify what opportunities are out there. And I don't even know how to expose myself to the opportunities or even uncover them. That's something that we cover inside of my program. And I'm currently accepting applications for the program. And so if it sounds like it could potentially be a good fit, then reach out to me and let's have a conversation. And I can tell you whether or not I think you would be a good fit for the program, because we don't want you to just be staying where it is that you are, hoping for the best, or just settling, but instead being very intentional about you doing what you need to do so that you can move into the right role and the right career for you. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining, and I will be back very, very soon. Bye. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe to the show so that you don't miss any future episodes. Also, I would love to know what your biggest takeaway has been from today's episode. Come over and join us in our Career Changemakers community over on LinkedIn so that you can join the conversation there. Head over to lightbotscoaching.com/community and it will take you right to the group. I look forward to seeing you.